as we fall in love with ourselves, it's like that is the ripple that is needed across the collective. That frequency is what can create these massive ripples across the collective.
Wow.
My prediction would be that there'll be some confusion. Some might feel anxious or not clear. Mm-hmm. And that, again, going back to that, there's nothing wrong. There's a lot of energy that's making a completion, right? These planets that are going back to the last degrees of their sign. It's like this last moment. And what are the lessons? What are the opportunities are really coming up right now? Mm-hmm. And before we move forward.
Do you believe that there was always originally 13 moons or 13 months versus 12 months?
Yes.
Welcome back to part 2 of our powerful conversation with Jillian, who's a Deborah Silverman certified astrologer and master mentor. In part 1, we explored astrology as a soul language and the journey of remembering who we truly are beneath conditioning and expectation. Today, we continue the conversation, diving even deeper into purpose, healing, and authentic expression. If you haven't listened to part 1 yet, be sure to go back and start there. Let's dive in.
Have you met anyone who's fallen madly in love with themselves?
I have.
You have?
I've met several. Yes.
And what are they like? Because I want to speak to this for a minute because I think underneath the layer of really falling, like I feel that word, like madly in love with yourself, mm-hmm. Would there be an air of egotism? Would there be an air of delusion? Would there be an air of better than? Mm-hmm. Curious what you feel when you've met these people. I don't know if I know anyone who's madly in love with themselves. Yeah. What would you say they're like?
They are otherworldly.
They're otherworldly.
Yes. And almost I questioned when I first met. Like, I'm thinking of this particular incredible human that I know who is madly in love with themselves. And I questioned for quite some time if they were real, like if it was a facade that they were putting on, like do
they really believe this or is this just fake? Yeah.
Right. But the way that they dance, I'll say, through life and live in this vibration that is pure love. It's something to behold, and it isn't common. I mean, this particular person that is in my mind right now, I've never met another
soul like that. How do you feel in their presence?
Light, hope, love, unconditional love. I mean, it's consistent.
Wow, that's permission for all of us because, like I said, ego, delusion, better than was never out of your mouth. You said you felt light, you felt love, all these really beautiful traits that I would love people to feel if they were in my presence. Mm. And so I think all of us could say that. So permission to fall madly in love with yourself.
And I think that that's what this whole journey on Earth School is, right? It's this journey of like, can we fall in love with ourselves, right? Because as we fall in love with ourselves, it's like that is the ripple that is needed across the collective, right? And so when you tune into it from that perspective, rather than the ego mind or trying to make it something, ego based, it's like, wow, if I can, the more that I can fall, maybe intimately would be another great word. The more intimate that I can, fall in love with myself, that frequency is what can create these massive ripples across the collective.
Wow. Okay. Now that you've met this person, how did they ever share how they got to that space?
Yes, they have a very unique story that we could probably spend hours going down that. But yes, they had an awakening type experience when they were quite young, 5 years old, through a very traumatic experience. Chaos.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Out of chaos.
Out of chaos came just this incredible knowing.
But an experience, kind of like a near death, maybe?
Very, very similar. Very, very similar. And then life carried on and, proceeded to have its peaks and valleys, and eventually, led to another, experience in their teenage years. And ultimately, they've really been on the
road sense.
Yeah.
Because they can't unsee what they saw, probably.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Wow. That's really cool. I mean, that's really a big blessing to be a witness of someone like that and to feel that energy as a witness of what's possible. Yeah, more of that, please, for our collective.
Yes.
And then I guess permission for us all to rise to it.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it does. It brings hope.
Yeah.
It brings hope.
Wow.
Possibility.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
This is a pivot, but I've always been curious about this. Is my curious brain. Well, maybe I have to find out if you believe this, because I have a theory. But do you believe that there was always originally 13 moons or 13 months versus 12 months?
Yes.
You do?
I do.
What happened to that other animal? And that other sign? Like, I keep feeling like there's another one.
So this is a big topic
It
in
is?
the astrology world. Oh yes, there's the 13th. Well, and so Deborah
I'm not in
speaks-
this world, so
Yeah.
I've been in my own private thoughts. I've been talking to my husband. I'm like, wait a minute. I feel like there's another world. There's another animal and there's another planet that we don't know.
So, well, the planets are.
We already know, but is there one? They're already there,
the
but
signs. So, we're always, as we evolve as humans. So for thousands of years, for example, we thought that Saturn was the furthest planet in our solar system because we didn't have advancements. That's the furthest planet we could see with the naked eye. And then as, telescopes were invented and we were able to see out further. And so, from the astrological lens, we're continuing to find asteroids and dwarf planets. And, we're expanding, right? Always. And, with that being said, there is this 13th sign in astrology, Ophiuchus. I do not practice with Ophiuchus in my
Ophiuchus. I've never even heard that word ever.
Yes.
Okay.
But we in Deborah Silverman's world, we call the 13th sign. She names it as the observer, right? Like that's the 13th sign when we can lift up out of the design, out of the pattern, lift into the observer and the higher self, the soul, right? That's that 13th sign. So, yeah.
There's just a different thought process around it. But most astrologers would say there was 13 months. Or not all?
Not all.
Okay, not all.
No.
Some people, like some astrologers really think there's only 12 months.
Yes.
Oh, interesting.
Yes. Okay. And the system is based, this airtight system is based on these 12 signs, the months, or something that were construed, that were put in place by
the
Gregorian.
The Mayans don't go off 12. Yeah, I'm fascinated by that.
Yeah.
Okay. Very interesting.
Yeah.
Huh. I'm curious how because astrology is a hot number right now. And people that were, us that were in the grocery store grabbing the horoscopes that were fascinated by it are finally getting permission to. I've been so curious by it. And that's why I really go down there. I'm never going to claim that I'm an astrologer or that I know all of it, but I am very curious. So I've been like, I like to talk to you guys and like get things. And I love talking to the Mayans, obviously, and their calendar system. But I feel that there's going to be a lot more like me, even more coming out, just wanting to know astrology, fascinated by it's going to have it's having its day.
It's totally.
And so do you sense that there's going to be this evolution that comes out where astrologers are going to be like, yeah, we didn't actually know about this. And now it's coming to our attention. We're seeing, or do you think it's laid out, it's done, and you're just learning more within that realm?
Yeah, well, I believe that, the the language of astrology, the system that we use is airtight.
It's
Like,
airtight.
there's no doubt, question in my mind.
Okay.
I had, just learning through history. I mean, think about this for a second. We can look back 4,000 years in the past. We know exactly, to the degree, to the second, to the minute, where that planet was.
That's crazy. That's crazy to me.
And when we relate it to our human experience, like, it's there's no question in my mind.
Yeah.
I've seen it, and working, doing consultations with humans, and it's like there's no question, no doubt in my mind. With that being said, to say, it would be ridiculous or naive of me to say that we're never going to sort of expand into something more, right?
Yeah.
And
I see what you're
like
saying.
deep trust in the system that we, experience life through and with.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. Yeah. Wow. Okay, we're filming this in early November, and person listening's in January.
Yeah.
What are you sensing for November?
Yeah, November is a month of, like we were, talking about, sort of like the back step, right?
Yeah.
Like we got like the front step into.
We're hanging out on the biggest moon of the year right now, you and I.
Yes, we are.
Of course we are.
Of course we are. Yeah, so tomorrow actually.
Yeah, but we're in the energy of it.
We're in the energy of it. It's at its exact tomorrow, and it's a super moon, meaning that the moon, it's closer to Earth. And
so it looks
we're
bigger
feeling
and brighter. Yeah.
the energy pulls, we are water bodies. The moon really influences the waters, the oceans, the tides, the waters within us. Our emotional bodies are connected to water, to the moon's energy. And so, yeah, there's a lot of intense emotional energetics happening this month. And we're in Scorpio season, right, which is an opportunity to tap into the shadow, to really go deep beneath the surface, right? And like we were talking about earlier, right, these bigger outer planets, they're taking that back step into their signs that they've been in for quite some time, for many, many years. And so we're getting this final,
Pull back, like a
pull
wave
back.
going back,
Yes.
or a bow going back.
Yes.
I feel that energy.
Do you feel it?
Yeah, when you're saying it, I can feel, how the ocean pulls back before it crashes, or a bow. Is it like that energy? You're pulling back.
Pulling back. And so, I would guess that my prediction would be that there'll be some confusion, some, might feel anxious or, just not clear. And that, again, going back to that, there's nothing wrong, right? And then there's a lot of energy that's making what we call a completion, right? These planets that are going back to the last degrees of their sign. It's like this last moment, right? And what are the lessons? What are the opportunities are really coming up right now? Before we move forward. And November is really the month where the energy is, the tides are coming back, right? And so the more that we can get quiet, find those nuggets, those moments of reflection and contemplation, and just being present with, our hearts, our bodies, slowing down time, that's really important.
That is.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Wow. This is really, really enlightening. What do you think about parents, for the kids that say yes, for parents and children doing astrology as a family and like really sharing with one another their charts?
I'm so glad you asked this question. It's so powerful. It's so important. I will just share a quick reflection from my own experience I had this weekend. I have a 15-year-old son. And, of course, I know his chart, and this is going to sound technical, but he's a late degree Cancer sun, meaning he was born on the last day of Cancer season, which is, Cancer is a water sign. Cancer is very emotional. It's ruled by the moon, right? So it's a very sensitive and emotional sign. And so as, being born male bodied, right? Like that sensitivity, really being aware that he does carry so much sensitivity, and to allow that to be expressed and not, shunned,
Shoved down.
especially as a male,
Yeah.
right? So over the weekend, he was in a tournament, ultimate frisbee tournament. It's a big thing here in Colorado. Yeah. And he is a really physical kid. He's super athletic. He's super competitive. He comes with a lot of passion. And so it was really one of the games. It was super tight. It was like getting down to the last moments, and they ended up losing. His team ended up losing. And I was on the sidelines, and I was just like feeling him, and I just I got this sense of, wow, this Cancer side of him is showing up. And I looked across, the field, and he grabbed his hoodie and he put his face in his hoodie and he just let himself cry. And it was so powerful to witness that, and that he was not embarrassed by it, that he was like, he allowed his teammates
to see it.
And he's a teenage kid. And I had this moment of being like, wow, like we've really talked about this.
Yeah.
Like how sensitive of a human that he is, right? And that's okay, that's a superpower. And being able to like express that passion and that feeling is such an incredible gift. And so to answer your question, I feel like it's, why wouldn't every parent want to know? Because it really has an opportunity to, in your experience, and you can maybe speak to this after, really your daughter sharing with you how that experience was for her, and better understanding, her needs, her makeup, how, how she's emotionally wired, right?
Yeah.
Our moon signs, our moon placements in our chart speak so much to our human experience.
Yeah.
So, understanding that about those that you love, and especially children, and being able to sort of meet them on their terms, because it might be wildly different than, how you personally experience life.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, I think I got the nudge. I never thought about it until actually Deborah was sitting with me and my husband. And granted, I've heard from my husband, and he's like a very masculine. He's Aries. He's got 3 Aries. He's,
Yes.
Does he have 3 Aries or something?
Yes.
Something.
Yeah.
Something. A lot of
Aries.
Aries.
Triple fire. I
he's
believe.
triple. I think triple fire.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's like, everything's exact. And I've had moments to be in his tenderness, to hear about his upbringing. And I've also met his parents. They would do anything for him, and they love him, and they did the best they could. Yet I hear his personal side of things when he was growing up, and how it really impacted him and really bothered him and really hurt him. And he's only told me personally. I know this from a perspective, and Deborah's sitting there with us, and she's like, I want to look at your sign, to him. And he's kind of like, I don't know if I believe in astrology. Like, I don't know if I want this woman to like look at my thing. And she goes, I bet as a kid you needed this. And if your parents didn't give you this, this would have really impacted you. And he was like, and I watched this, and he was like, yeah, I did need that. And it just hit me like that. It was like, I don't ever want to be the parent that didn't know, because I'm sure his parents just didn't know.
Of course.
And if they just would have responded in this way, or behaved in this way, or just understood their child this way, it would have changed years of emotional pain, and years where he pulled away and didn't connect with his heart, because he's only connects certain people that he feels he can. But he could have had that, and they could have had that with him, because he's such a loving soul. And I was like, oh, like, I want to know how my child ticks and how they work in life, so that I say what they need to hear, that I show up. Or some kids maybe need a little bit more of like letting the sensitivity, and some need a little bit more freedom. And I just realized then that I was like, oh, if my kids are open to this, then I want to be that kind of parent. I want to know, because I can only go from my perspective in life. And even though I am a coach and I help women, I'm not going to know everything. nor am I supposed to. But if I can have another expert come in and just share, hey, maybe look at it this way. This is what they could use. This is how they operate. This is what drives them. And it's made a difference. Like I've noticed just even little minor, I mean, me and my daughter have always been really close, but she even said, she said, I think you said something about our relationship, and it just bonded it more because she was like, yeah, we are really close and we have this connection. And then also me just doing things a little bit, being more aware, what does she need to hear based off what I heard in this astrology. Yes. And I think it just makes the relationship stronger and maybe hopefully makes her feel safer, which as a parent, all we want is our kids to feel safe around us. Yes. And sometimes we don't even know how to give them that safety, and we think we're giving it to them, but they need it in a different language. So that's
exactly it.
So why not? Why not learn it? Why not? If your kids are open, just being curious. It's like taking one of those fun quizzes in a lot of ways and being like, well, this is my personality. Like we took the 5 love languages. I don't look at it much different. Like it's just a different language to learn something a lot more in depth than the 5 love languages. But even that was beneficial as a parent. Be like, oh, quality time is your love language. Dang, I've been doing acts of service or gifts and that doesn't even hit you to your core. I need to up my level here.
Totally.
Yeah.
And, in this language, it's an ancient language.
Ancient.
And there's so much depth to it.
There's way more than just like a test or these things. It's so good.
It's such, what's the saying? We're all made of star stuff, and I believe it with like every cell in my body. And I'm a questioner. Like I'm a person who needs proof of things, like on a practical level. And so because although I've been so fascinated by astrology since I was a little girl, I remember even coming into Deborah's school and learning, and I'm like, but how does this work? And there's such a mystery to it.
Yeah.
There's such a mystery to it.
And that's why people think it's made up, because there is a mystery and we're used to a science-based society.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But within that mystery, like there's
almost a rhythm to it too. There's a very mathematical.
Oh, it's
piece to
airtight.
Yeah,
it's sacred geometry.
Yeah,
it's profound, and I just trust so wholeheartedly in it because of the results. Because of it's like you said, just really being seen and in a way that you hadn't before. And it's just that reflection, the validation of who you truly are.
Yeah.
Right. There's such an empowerment to understanding that about yourself, about your children, your loved ones, your coworkers. It's so powerful. And to understand the different cycles, that you are in or that your kids are in is so incredibly supportive.
Yeah, absolutely. So that was the main message for today, is I really just wanted people to hear from someone that I trust a little bit more about it. If they're curious or if they're just like, this is hogwash, they can kind of open their minds to maybe a different language. And that's really all it is. Like you said, an ancient language. And so, I'm going to put more information in the show notes. I loved having you on, and I want to ask you one final question.
Yes.
Okay. You're standing in front of millions of people, and you have one final word or final statement to say to all these millions of eyes that are looking at you. What's that message?
Ooh, Donette. You are love.
You are love. Simple, clear, true. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here, and thank you for all that you do.
Thanks. You.
Yeah.
Appreciate you so much.
Yeah. Thank you. You guys, thanks for tuning in to today's episode. Please take a minute and click that follow button and rate and review. We love to hear from you guys about this. So write in. We want to know, maybe you want Jillian back. I'm not sure. Maybe you do. Let's have open. There's lots to talk about as maybe we come back during the spring equinox. Maybe she'll come back on. If you guys share this out, we'll definitely tell her and she can come back on, and we can talk about that second stage, really the new year, of 2026. That would be really fun. I actually would love that. So let us know. We love you guys, and we'll see you on the next episode.